Today, we're diving into a really incredible story. It's about faith, migration, and culture, and it stretches back over 1,000 years. We're going to explore how a religion born in the deserts of Arabia made its way across continents, planted deep roots in China, and eventually gave rise to a whole new, unique ethnic group, the Hui people.
So, at the heart of this entire story is one big question. I mean, it almost sounds like a contradiction, right? But the answer reveals this amazing tale of blending and adaptation. This is the mystery we're going to unpack together.
All right, to get our heads around this, we're going to travel through 4 key moments in Chinese history. We'll start with the very first arrivals during the Tang Dynasty, then see how the Hui identity really started to form in the Yuan, watch their deep integration during the Ming, and finally see them flourish in the Qing. Think of this as our historical roadmap.
Okay, let's rewind the clock. Our story kicks off more than 1,300 years ago, during the Tang Dynasty. This was a golden age for international trade, and the famous Silk Road? Well, it wasn't just for silk and spices, it was a superhighway for ideas. And this is exactly how the very first seeds of Islam were planted in China.
Now here's a really important detail from that time. The name given to these early settlers was Fan Ke, which literally means foreign guests. The first official record of them arriving is way back in the year 651. And that name tells you everything. They weren't seen as invaders or anything like that, but as welcome traders who are adding to the empire's wealth.
So, where did these guests actually set up shop? Well, they built communities in all the major commercial hotspots. You had the big coastal cities like Guangzhou and Quanzhou, which were crucial, but they also moved way inland, even to the capital, Chang'an. That just goes to show how deeply involved they were in China's economy right from the start. And here's the crucial part of this early chapter. These foreign guests didn't stay foreign for long. Over hundreds of years, they started intermarrying with local people, Han Chinese, Mongols, Uyghurs, and their children and their grandchildren became the very first ancestors of the people we now know as the Hui.
This brings us to our next major turning point, the Yuan dynasty. Now, this era, which was founded by the Mongols, was like a massive crucible. It didn't just welcome these communities, it actively and pretty dramatically forged a brand new heartland for them in a region called NingXia. It all started, believe it or not, with incredible violence. In 1227, the Mongol armies, led by Genghis Khan himself, absolutely obliterated the Western Xia kingdom. The capital was leveled, and the local population was basically wiped out.
So the result of this absolutely brutal conquest was what historians call a population vacuum. You suddenly had this huge, strategically vital piece of land that was now empty, and the Mongols needed to fill it, and fast, to secure their new empire. This one fact is the key that unlocks the whole next chapter.
And this is where a pivotal character enters the stage. Meet Prince Ananda. He was the grandson of the legendary Kublai Khan. Ananda was raised by a Muslim family, and his faith wasn't just some casual thing. The Persian historian Rashid el-Din wrote that it was unshakable. And as fate would have it, Ananda was stationed right there, in the NingXia region.
You see, Ananda's influence was just immense. He didn't keep his faith to himself, he actively spread it. And check out this number. It is staggering. He convinced a massive army of about 150,000 Mongol soldiers serving under him to convert to Islam.
So let's put all the pieces together here. Step 1, the conquest creates this empty land. Step 2, Ananda's huge, newly converted Muslim army moves in to fill that void. Step 3, the Mongols also moved other Muslims from Central Asia, soldiers, craftsmen, merchants, into the same area. And boom, just like that, NingXia is transformed into a major hub for China's Muslim population.
Okay, so after the Mongol-led Yuan dynasty collapses, the new Ming dynasty takes over, and their goal is to bring back Han Chinese culture as the dominant force. Now, for the Hui people, this could have been a disaster, but instead it became a period of really deep and actually officially encouraged fusion.
This comparison really says it all. Under the Yuan dynasty, all sorts of foreign customs worked totally fine, but the first Ming emperor brought in policies of assimilation. He literally ordered people to adopt Han-style clothes, to speak the Chinese language, and even to take on Chinese surnames.
And here is a fantastic example of that cultural fusion in action. A lot of Hui people suddenly needed a Chinese last name. Well, the Prophet Muhammad's name was often written in Chinese with a sound that started with Ma, as in Mahama. So many of them just adopted the surname Ma. It was a really clever way to follow the new law while still holding on to a subtle connection to their faith.
Something else happened during the Ming era. The Hui people spread all across China, creating this really unique settlement pattern. You'll find them widely dispersed across the entire country, but wherever they are, they tend to live in these small, tight-knit communities, almost always built around a local mosque.
So by the time we get to the Qing dynasty, the Hui identity is fully baked, and in their heartland of Ningxia, after weathering all those centuries of change, their religious and cultural life wasn't just hanging on, it was absolutely thriving. I mean, listen to this quote from an official imperial record written in 1781. It says that the huge stretch of land from NingXia all the way to Pingliang, a massive distance, was, and I quote, entirely Hui villages. That just paints an incredible picture of how dominant their presence had become in that region. And they built incredible, lasting monuments to their faith. Dotted all across Ningxia, you'll find these magnificent mosques, some of them centuries old. Places like the Tongxing Grand Mosque or the Najihu Grand Mosque, they're not just historic buildings, they are still the vibrant heart of their communities today.
This also shows us the diversity within Hui Islam. You see, alongside the mosques, which are the public centers for prayer, you find these really unique structures called gangbei. These are shrines built over the tombs of revered Sufi holy men, and they reflect a more mystical, spiritual tradition that also got woven very deeply into Hui religious life. So after this epic 1,300-year journey, what's the legacy today? Well, it's really embodied in Ningxia. The region stands as a living testament to this incredible history, and it serves as the cultural homeland for the Hui people in China today.
When you boil it all down, this is the core of the story. The Hui didn't just bring Islam to China, they created a Chinese Islam. It's this beautiful, unique blend that you can see in their art, their architecture, their food, even their language. It's a faith from far away, expressed completely through the lens of one of the world's oldest civilizations. And this unique identity is actually officially recognized by the state. As you can see from this chart, China has 5 autonomous regions that are designated for ethnic minorities, but Ningxia is the one and only one that was established for the Hui people. That really cements its status as their official cultural and political homeland. And all of this leaves us with one final powerful question to think about. The 1,300-year journey of the Hui people, it's not just a history lesson. It's a living, breathing example of a really profound and ongoing challenge. How does any community hold on to its distinct cultural and religious identity while at the same time being a totally inseparable part of a vast and ancient nation?